Namaskar. Welcome to Prakash on Basics. I am Prakash Zog, and we've been talking of Keval Adwait Vedanta. That is the core, or rather the topmost level of Indian philosophy that is talked of throughout the world. The whole concept is very large and very big. So, what I did was to talk on many of the aspects like Brahma, Atma, Satya, Mahawakyas, and others independently in different uh, lectures. A link for all of those has been provided so you can brush them up. And then what we are going to do now is to look at how Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, put all these concepts together. Uh, One core area, Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya, we talked of last time. But there were many more concepts that were talked on by Adi Shankaracharya. The Upanishad, the Gita, the Brahma Sutra, that is this forming the Prasthantrayi, is the core of Indian philosophy. And Shankaracharya's interpretation of the ideas in these three led to the Advaita philosophy or the Advaita Vedanta. This is the basic idea. One area we talked of. There are some other core aspects also that are in Advaita Vedanta. Let me remind you, he also brought forth the concept of Maya. He also mentioned that true knowledge, that is Brahma Vidya, uh, which leads to the understanding of Brahma, is the only way to salvation. He also mentioned that knowledge can be gained only by detachment from karma or activities or karma kanda to some extent, and following the path of understanding far more than just karma. Uh, we have already some idea of what Brahma, Atma, and Maya are, if not just brush them up from my previous lectures, if possible. Um, to explain Advaita, Shankaracharya used many words like Maya, Vikshep, Avaran, Adhyas, Avidya, Vivarta, and so forth. Let us try and understand these and how they are interrelated by Shankaracharya. I'll mention a lot of these Sanskrit words and their closest possible meanings wherever possible. But then these are two different languages, and the totality of the complete meaning is often difficult to convey in a different language. So the original Sanskrit words are the ones that I will refer to in the beginning at every stage. The primary concept was that Brahma and Jiva are not separate from each other. And that we talked of and discussed last time. Let's move ahead. To substantiate his views, Shankaracharya uh, selected four Upanishads from the four different Vedas, and from each of them he selected one sentence that resulted into four Mahawakyas. I've discussed them in detail, but I'll remind you all of what they are today again. And these are the foundation stones of Advaita philosophy. Actually, Yajurved has two branches. So there is one sentence from each of them that is also talked of. And so we could say that there are five of them. From the Rigved's Aitareya Upanishad, we have Prajnanam Brahma, which is known as the Lakshana Vakya. From the Shukla Yajurved, we have Aham Brahmasmi. From the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. From the Samved, we have Tattvamasi, which is from the Chandogya Upanishad. This is an Upadesha Vakya or an advice of what it is. And from Atharva Ved, we have Ayam Atma Brahma from the Mandukya Upanishad, which is an experience sentence or Anubhava Vakya, a realization by an every individual. Actually, from Krishna Yajurved, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahmam from the Taittiriya Upanishad is also many a times included along with this. I have independently spoken about them. So let's not go into details of them. But the words themselves, as you can realize, would clarify how Atma and Brahm and knowledge are all related to each other. According to Shankaracharya, Brahma is everything. The universe that we see around us is due to Maya. What we perceive to be real may not be real, is the statement that he makes. While talking of Jivatma, the sentient life, actually, all of us humans, that is what he's referred to, he stresses one more concept from the Upanishads. Uh, Many a times when you look up information or pictures related to Upanishads, you would find a tree with a couple of birds sitting on top. And this is said to represent many of the ideas or one of the core ideas in Upanishads. The two words associated here are sakshin. The word technically means the witness or the observer of everything, and antakaran, the inner consciousness. Atma, the soul that is talked of, is nothing but this inner sakshin. Mind and intelligence form antakaran, that is the inner consciousness. This sakshin and antakaran are like a pair of birds on the life tree. The sakshin is a witness to all but is personally inactive. He is the part of Ishvara or Brahma within every individual. Antakaran tastes the fruits of life, good or bad, through his individual or our own individual senses. Together, Sakshin and Antakaran form what is many a times referred to as the Jivatma. As I said, the Sakshin is Nishkriya, that means inactive, and Antakaran is Karya Pravaran, means active or interactive through the senses. There was one more concept that Shankaracharya introduced, which was very important, and that is the word known as adhyas. Let me remind you that it is not abhyas. Abhyas is the learning process. Adhyas is different. Long back, I had mentioned the various forms of Satya or truth in Indian philosophy. The Pratibhasik Satya, the Vyavaharik Satya, and the Paramarthik Satya. Pratibhasik is what we sense. Vyavaharik is the one in practical life that comes in front of us. And Paramarthik is the ultimate truth. Remember the example that we talked of, a rope lying in an unilluminated area appears to be like a snake. Pratibhasik Satya is the snake you see in the dark till someone tells you that it is just a rope. Vyavaharik Satya is the world that we sense around us, the one that we interact with in our daily lives. In reality, just like the realization that it's just a rope, not the snake, which is a different thing. And Paramarthik Satya, the ultimate reality, the ultimate truth. From the same example, it is that truth realizing that the rope or the snake are just one and the same, the part of Brahma, the ultimate unity of everything. The difference in the interpretation of the same object because of difference in knowledge leads to the misinterpretation that we talk of. Once the reality is known, this confusion disappears. Shankaracharya calls this confusion itself as adhyasa. Implanting previous knowledge and interpretations in a different situation, resulting in a misinterpretation, is what adhyas is. We've seen a snake, uh, so the snake is known. The rope in an unlit area looks like a snake, so we implant our ideas of the snake on a similar object and misinterpret it as the snake. Once the truth is known, our idea of the rope being a snake disappears. So the snake concept from there disappears, which is the Pratibhasik Satya, and the Vyavaharik Satya, that it is a rope, comes to the forefront. Think if it's a very small child who has never seen a snake and he looks at the rope lying in the corner. For him, the rope is the same as an ordinary rope that he's probably previously seen. So for him, the Pratibhasik and the Vyavaharik Satyas are all the same because he lacks the experiences because of the unexposure to various situations. What is the possibility that all things that we look around us are also such misinterpretations of our senses? That is exactly what Shankaracharya says. He says all this is a misinterpretation. The ultimate reality is realizing that everything is nothing but a part of Brahma. A Dvaita, nothing dual or separate from Brahma itself. That is going higher, realizing the ultimate truth, the Paramarthik Satya, to know Advaita. So it is this evolution of our perspective or how we look at things that is talked of, which finally and ultimately leads to this Advaita. Adhyasa then is the misinterpretation of a rope being perceived as a snake. One is a reality and the other is an illusion. Both give us knowledge, but one of them disappears as soon as the other is clarified. So in Adhyasa, the characteristics of one knowledge based unit are superimposed on another. So non existent properties in the second seem to be present. That's not only the case of the rope and the snake. You look at shadows of trees and you misinterpret them as spooky ghosts and other things. And ghosts themselves don't exist, but these are some misconceptions that we already have in our mind. Some characteristics that we have thought of which do exist, which we superimpose on the shadows and believe them to be true. So, knowledge of the real object is the Vyavaharik Satya. Knowledge of the perceived object is the Pratibhasik Satya. And once uh, knowledge and reality are known properly, the Pratibhasik Satya disappears. The confusion of this knowledge is avidya. A is negation, vidya is knowledge. So it's wrongly perceived knowledge. And the cause of this is Maya. Maya has two abilities: avaran, that is covering, and vikshep, showing or presenting something in a different form than the reality. It is because of this and this form of knowledge, which is avidya, that the misinterpretation takes place. One of the other examples that is used not only in the Upanishads but in Indian philosophy very often is associated with a shell. We have all seen seashells and the inner coating which shines as if it is silver. Uh, Mother of pearl is the technical term that we use in English for it. Uh, and when it is in water and water is moving around, it looks as if it is silver that's lying around. As to why that happens is a part of pure science, and that maybe in my other set of lectures sometime I might talk of this effect as to how the pearls are formed and what is mother of pearl and other things. Let's keep that aside just now. This is a very common example in Indian philosophy. Uh, it is used to bring forth the concept of Maya. What it says is that uh, we do not realize the true shell that is there, but we misinterpret it because of the avaran or the coating that is there, which has caused vikshep, that is, deformed the information of interpreting it as silver. So, this is how vikshep and avaran are associated with Maya. Advait Vedanta is also a part of the Darshan Shastra or the philosophy part, Uttara Mimamsa. So naturally, like the rules of all darshanas, uh, it is expected that it should explain the origin, evolution, end, and cause of the universe, who is the creator, and so forth. Here, the problem is settled. As per Shankaracharya's Advaita Vedanta, everything is Brahma. The creator and the creator created are both Brahma. The creator, the instrumental cause, and the material cause are all the same. The clay, the pot, the potter's wheel, and the potter himself are all the same. That is Brahma. But then what is observed is a universe which we sense. Shankara and as a part of Advaita and Brahma Sutra, talks of this being one of the effects of Brahma's reality being overshadowed in our mind or covered in our minds by Maya. But we must realize that the universe and the Brahma and the Jagat are the same. Obviously, they have given an example for this also. What they say is uh, think of a spider and his web. The web is the creation of the spider itself. So, even if the effect is seen in terms of the web, the real cause is the spider who has created the web itself, which is a part of the spider himself. So the web and the spider are not different, they are the same. They only appear to be different. Shankaracharya in the process also mentions one more aspect. He clarified that not everyone is qualified for the ultimate knowledge or Brahmajnan or Vedanta. If some of the conditions as to what the qualifications required are, I have mentioned in one of my lectures previously. Uh, but what if you're not qualified? He says it's like uh, pouring water on top of an inverted pot. Nothing is going to go inside, and that is because the person does not have his mind open. The opening is not facing the guru, and so the knowledge cannot go inside. He must possess a whole lot of virtues known as sadhana chatushtay. It's a separate topic, so let's talk of that sometime later on. um, Moksha or salvation comes only with true and complete knowledge, which is vidya, and not avidya. Self inquiry, which is known as nididhyasan, is most important. It involves listening to a knowledgeable, right person, carefully mm, and consistently thinking about it, evolving the ideas in your own mind, and working on them till the complete understanding of Brahma is not achieved. And that is Nididhyasana. So without Nididhyasana, nothing can be achieved. Actually, in practical life also, unless you follow these rules, you are not going to achieve anything in life. This is these ideas that I have been talking of last time and today are the ones that finally link Advaita Vedanta and take it to its highest level in Indian philosophy. With this background information, I am sure you will be able to take on the challenge of truly understanding uh, Adi Shankaracharya's Advaita Vedanta, Mayavad, Vivartavad, and so many other related areas. Brahma, Shankaracharya talked of many other concepts also. He also insisted that uh, the aspect of Nirguna Brahma, that is attribute-less Brahma, is very difficult to achieve. And so for a common man, it is the Saguna Brahma, that is the one with attributes, that is the first stepping stone. So naturally, you cannot reach the final destination immediately. You have to follow the lower steps. And since he realized this, he had also composed a lot of uh, prayers and stotras associated with specific gods to help people to understand many of the basic concepts. Other than this, he had some more ideas too, but they are not associated with the philosophy itself. So let's keep them separate as of now. If you have liked whatever I have said, I'm sure this should trigger you to understand a little more, and then on your own follow the path of Nididhyasan and learn more about Advaita Vedanta. There is a lot of information around. It is only your efforts that will be a limit. Till we meet again for the next area, which is slightly different from Advaita concept, is what I will talk on. Till then, Namaskar.